Arsène Lupin, Gentleman Burglar, Episode 3, The Heralded Heist. Welcome back, Detective. After witnessing Lupin's spectacular courthouse escape, you might think he'd lie low for a while, avoid attention until the heat dies down. But that's not how Arsène Lupin operates. Today's case will demonstrate something unprecedented in criminal history. What happens when a thief announces his crime in advance and dares the police to stop him? Picture this: February 1906, Paris. The Baron de Cahorn receives an elegant letter on expensive stationery at his château in Normandy. The Baron is enormously wealthy, famously paranoid about his art collection, and has just installed the most sophisticated security system in France. He opens the letter and nearly collapses from shock. The letter reads, "Dear Baron de Cahorn, I will visit your château on Thursday, March 27th, at precisely 10 p.m. I intend to remove from your collection the following items: the Rubens painting Adoration of the Shepherds, the Henry IV silver chandelier, and the jeweled snuff box that once belonged to Napoleon. I thought it only sporting to give you advance notice. Please do invite the police to defend your treasures. It will make the evening more entertaining. Yours in anticipation, Arsène Lupin." Now think about this, my apprentice. What kind of criminal announces exactly what he'll steal and when? Is this supreme confidence or complete insanity? What could Lupin possibly gain from warning his victim weeks in advance? The Baron immediately contacts the police, waving the letter furiously. This madman thinks he can just waltz into my home and announce his theft like it's a social visit. I want every available officer protecting my chateau. The police commissioner, still smarting from Lupin's courthouse humiliation, sees an opportunity to restore the department's reputation. "Monsieur le Baron," the commissioner declares, "we will turn your château into a fortress. Lupin may be clever, but not even he can penetrate our defenses when we know exactly where and when he'll strike. This time, his arrogance will be his downfall." The Baron looks somewhat reassured, though his hands still tremble as he clutches the mocking letter. I receive an invitation from the Baron to witness the defense preparations. He wants independent observers to document the police's success in finally capturing Lupin. When I arrive at the château 3 days before the announced heist, what I see is indeed impressive. Tell me, detective, if you were Lupin, how would you penetrate these defenses? The château sits on a hilltop surrounded by open grounds. No trees for cover, no buildings nearby. 20 officers patrol the perimeter in rotating shifts. 10 more guard the interior, stationed in every corridor. The Baron's art gallery, containing the targeted items, has been transformed into a vault. Steel bars on windows, reinforced doors, motion sensors that trigger alarms. 2 officers sit inside the gallery itself, watching the paintings continuously. "Let him try," the Baron boasts during dinner. "With 48 hours still remaining, I've made my home impregnable. That insufferable thief will find no way in." But notice the Baron's nervousness. Despite the security, he jumps at every sound, suspects every shadow. Lupin's letter has already achieved something. It's turned the Baron into a prisoner in his own home. The police inspector in charge, a methodical man named Ganimard, who's made catching Lupin his personal obsession, explains his strategy. "We've verified the identity of every servant, every delivery person, every visitor. We've searched every room for hidden entrances. We've even checked the family genealogy to ensure no one with Lupin connections has access. He cannot possibly infiltrate this château. But here's what troubles me. Lupin must know about these preparations. He must anticipate this level of security. So why announce his crime unless he's already solved the problem of how to commit it? What are we missing? The days crawl by with agonizing tension. March 25th, 48 hours to go. The Baron barely sleeps, constantly checking the gallery, questioning guards, examining the security systems. March 26th, 24 hours remaining. The police commissioner himself arrives with reinforcements, bringing the total to 50 officers. The château resembles a military installation more than a private home. Then comes March 27th, the day of the announced heist. The Baron spends the afternoon in his study, staring at Lupin's letter, as if trying to divine the thief's plan through pure concentration. Perhaps it's all a bluff, he suggests, hopefully. Perhaps Lupin never intended to come, just wanted to frighten me, to demonstrate his power to terrify. But I notice something that makes me uneasy. The Baron's nephew, a pleasant young man named Etienne, who arrived 2 weeks ago for a visit, seems remarkably calm, while everyone else radiates anxiety. He moves through the château with casual confidence, chatting amiably with the nervous guards, offering them coffee and encouragement. Why would someone be so relaxed on the day their uncle's home is supposed to be robbed? Evening falls. Inspector Ganimard positions his men like chess pieces. Perimeter guards with whistles and lanterns. Interior patrols checking every room hourly, the gallery sentries with orders to shoot if necessary. The targeted items, the Rubens, the chandelier, the snuff box, sit in plain view, bait in what Ganimard hopes will become Lupin's trap. 9 p.m. Every light in the château blazes. Officers check and recheck their positions. The Baron sits in his study with Ganimard, myself, and several other witnesses, waiting for the clock to strike 10. 1 hour, the Baron whispers. 1 hour, and we'll see if Lupin's reputation is deserved or merely legend. 9:30 p.m., a guard reports a suspicious figure seen briefly in the grounds, but searchers find nothing. False alarm or reconnaissance. The Baron's hands shake as he pours brandy, spilling some on his desk. The tension becomes almost unbearable. Even I feel my heart racing as the minutes tick away. 9:45 p.m. 15 minutes to the promised time. Ganimard sends runners to confirm all positions secure. Every report comes back positive. All guards alert, all doors locked, all windows barred, the gallery impregnable. He won't come, the Baron says again, but his voice lacks conviction. He can't come. It's impossible. And then, at exactly 10 p.m., as the château's clock begins to chime the hour, all the electric lights suddenly go out. The entire building plunges into absolute darkness. Shouts erupt from guards, whistles blow frantically, lanterns bob wildly as officers rush about in confusion. The gallery, Ganimard roars. Everyone to the gallery. We fumble through the darkness with emergency lanterns, stumbling over furniture, colliding with panicked guards. When we finally reach the gallery and force open its reinforced door, what we find makes everyone freeze in absolute shock. The gallery stands completely empty. Not just the 3 announced items, everything is gone. Every painting, every sculpture, every piece of furniture. The Rubens, the chandelier, the snuff box, gone. But also the Rembrandt, the Persian carpets, the Ming vases, the medieval tapestries. The room has been stripped bare. Walls showing rectangular patches where paintings once hung. Impossible, the Baron screams, his voice cracking with hysteria. There were 2 guards in this room. The door was locked from inside. Where are the guards? We search frantically and find both officers unconscious in a storage closet, drugged but unharmed. They remember nothing after drinking coffee brought by ... the nephew. I suddenly realize, where's Etienne? We rush through the château, searching every room, but the Baron's nephew has vanished completely. Along with, we discover, 3 delivery carts that arrived over the past 2 weeks, carrying supplies and furniture for the nephew's extended stay. The pattern becomes horrifyingly clear. Lupin didn't infiltrate the château on the night of the heist. He was already inside. Had been inside for 2 weeks, living as the Baron's trusted nephew, Etienne's, the real nephew, we later discover, never left Paris, having been detained by a legal matter that conveniently resolved itself the next day. Every delivery Lupin arranged brought empty crates that he secretly filled with stolen items and stored in the nephew's rooms. The specially ordered medical equipment for the nephew's supposed weak constitution, actually sophisticated tools for cutting paintings from frames and dismantling chandeliers, the massage oils for the nephew's tension, drugs for the gallery guards. Inspector Ganimard looks physically ill as the full scope of the deception becomes clear. He was here all along. We verified the nephew's identity when he arrived 2 weeks ago, but that was before the announcement letter. We never rechecked because why would we suspect someone already inside? We focused entirely on preventing infiltration while the thief was already among us, befriending our guards, mapping our security, planning every detail. The cutting of electricity wasn't the heist, it was the exit signal. In the darkness and confusion, Lupin simply walked out with his pre-packed carts, waved goodbye to guards he'd been chatting with for days, and vanished into the night. The 3 carts are found abandoned 10 miles away, already empty. The artwork has disappeared into Lupin's network of fencers and collectors. But here's the final insult. The next day, the Baron receives another letter. Dear Baron de Cahorn, thank you for the delightful 2 weeks as your guest. Your hospitality was exemplary, though I do think your cook uses too much salt. I apologize for taking more than announced, but the opportunity proved too tempting. As promised, I visited on March 27th at exactly 10 p.m., though technically I'd been visiting for 14 days already. A matter of perspective, really. The Rubens will look lovely in my collection. Your devoted nephew, Arsène Lupin. The letter includes a photograph. Lupin, dressed as Etienne, sitting in the Baron's study, surrounded by all the stolen artwork before it was packed away. He'd documented his entire triumph, waiting until after the heist to reveal how thoroughly he'd deceived everyone. So tell me, detective, when should we have suspected the nephew? What signs of Lupin's presence did we miss during those 2 weeks? How can you defend against a criminal who doesn't break in, but instead is invited in, trusted, given access to everything you're trying to protect? The Baron suffers a nervous breakdown and never fully recovers. His impregnable château becomes a laughingstock in aristocratic circles. Inspector Ganimard resigns briefly in shame before returning to service. Now more obsessed than ever with capturing Lupin, the stolen artwork surfaces gradually over the next year in private collections across Europe, with no way to prove they came from the Baron's gallery. As for the lesson here, my apprentice Lupin has taught us something profound about the nature of security. We focus so intently on locks and guards and walls that we forget the greatest vulnerability, trust itself. By announcing his crime, Lupin created a false sense of the battlefield. Everyone looked outward for an incoming threat while he operated freely on the inside. This case demonstrates why Lupin is not just a thief, but an artist of deception. He doesn't fight security systems. He makes them irrelevant. He doesn't overcome obstacles. He repositions himself so the obstacles don't apply. And he does it all with such audacity that even his victims must grudgingly admire the performance. Join me next time for the 7 billion ruble affair, where we'll discover that Lupin's ambitions extend far beyond French aristocrats, when Russian nobility, international intrigue, and a conspiracy spanning 3 countries collide, our gentleman burglar will prove that his greatest heists are always the ones no one sees coming.